Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. With non-communicable diseases recognized as a major threat to the health and productivity of Barbadians, the Seventh-day Adventist School has been praised for its efforts to promote healthy lifestyles. The occasion was the launch of the first Joint Health Week celebrations at the SDA's primary and secondary schools' Dalkeith premises. The Prime Minister says that 7 out of every 10 Barbadians are affected by at least one non-communicable disease. These figures, he says, can have a wide-ranging effect on the future. The Prime Minister also believes more emphasis should be placed on prevention rather than cure.
If we rear a population where 7 out of every 10 persons are suffering with some chronic non-communicable disease, it is going to affect the performance of those Barbadians when they grow up, when they enter the workforce. It is going to affect how much they're able to produce. It is going to affect them in their family lives. It is going to affect them in their community lives. It is going to affect them in every facet of their existence.
Prime Minister Stewart also reminded the secondary and primary school students of the importance of healthy bodies and healthy minds.
Be careful what you look at, and be careful what you listen to. Because what you look at and what you listen to are going to determine what you think about, and what you think about will in turn determine what kind of person you are. And since you want to be good, pleasant, desirable persons, it is important that you think about the right things.
Praises also came from the Ministry of Health, with the minister saying efforts are being made to find innovative ways to fight NCDs. He also identified the church as one of the key stakeholders in pushing healthy lifestyle messages to the population.
Churches throughout Barbados possess many of the assets that are necessary for mounting successful community-based healthy lifestyle programs. The most obvious asset is the focus on the spiritual dimension, which works together with the physical, mental, and social dimensions to contribute to our overall health and well-being.
President of the Eastern Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Dansford Francis, also mentioned the proven benefits of healthy living in the Seventh-day faith.
They tell me there are 5 blue zones in the world. One of them is in Loma Linda, California, where 97% of the population are Seventh-day Adventists. Using our lifestyle, or a healthy lifestyle, it is discovered, it's now recognized by all leading research around the world, that this type of lifestyle causes us to live 6 to 10 years longer than anybody else.
The health celebrations continue tomorrow at the school grounds with food demonstrations, presentations on cancer and diabetes, and health screenings. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. is reporting a positive response to its recent roadshow in Trinidad. The BTMI's director for the Caribbean and Latin America, Vicky Chandler, says the roadshow, which started in the south of the Twin Island Republic, went well. The first stop, San Fernando.
We had an excellent turnout of travel agents and people from corporate Trinidad and other associations that have a connection with Barbados, and they were very receptive of the fact that Barbados was in town. We invited everyone to come and have an evening with Barbados, and it was really quite successful.
Ms. Chandler says the Barbados contingent was made up of 18 members, which included some attractions, car rental companies and hoteliers. She says during a series of events, they were able to re-engage with the Trinidad trade partners as well as consumers.
Barbados is still an iconic brand in the region, and to our Caribbean neighbours who know us, they appreciate us as well, as we appreciate you guys also. But we've had a wonderful reception. I sense already, just from the one event last night, that they have re-engaged with us and reconnected with us. The thing is, you need to be present and visible and keep your relationships going and keep the communication open. And this is the first step in that regard.
And the BTMI's Senior Business Development Officer, Stacey Hutchinson, acknowledged that Barbados is a mature destination, but says it's critical to focus on market development and product augmentation.
It's important that we continue to keep the product refreshed, we renovate, we upgrade, and we offer you greater variety and choices, not only in terms of accommodation, or restaurant, nightlife, shopping. Every facet of the destination is important for us, and this is what we strive to do.
2 of the sessions were held at the Radisson Hotel and Trin City Mall. Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair says all steps are being taken to ensure that the interests of concerned customs officials are met. This development comes after a 3-hour meeting with officials from the Ministries of Labour and Finance and the Barbados Workers' Union at government headquarters. The meeting was called to address concerns raised over the proposed transition of the Customs and Excise Department into the umbrella Barbados Revenue Authority.
Assume the basic position that we should not disadvantage anybody for transitioning, because I don't want to have a BRA in which everybody is disgruntled because it is not going to work. Okay, so we have to ensure that the temporaries, the people who are appointed, the people who come and so forth and so on, who have just come, that we take care of all of those persons.
As a result, Barbados Workers' Union officials says there will be no industrial action from members of the department. Furthermore, former BWU General Secretary Sir Roy Trotman says while there are communication issues between the ministry and customs officers still to be addressed, today's meeting was a step in the right direction.
The manner of social dialogue was being bypassed, and a number of public servants needed to be satisfied that we did not permit arrangements where government could vary conditions of employment, change the workplace, change the employer without previous consultation and agreement. An attempt is being made to recover that ground. That has been done to the extent that this meeting today was successful.
Well, earlier this morning, customs officers were getting some insight into the new terms of employment under the proposed merger. This was at a meeting at the National Union of Public Workers headquarters to review the document the union received from the Ministry of Finance recently. NUPW Acting General Secretary Rosalind Smith says customs officers will be able to start looking at the offer for future employment under the BRA.
We are saying that we are committed. I think Council took a decision that we will support the customs officers during this exercise. We want to thank the ministries, finance and personnel administration for their commitment to ensuring that we have the documents so that we can share those documents with the customs staff so that they can have, we are saying that when the letters are given, that they should have 1 month to peruse in order to make an informed decision when the time is ready.
Meanwhile, the NUPW boss says the union is awaiting confirmation from the Personnel Administration Division for a meeting sometime this week. This is to address the burning issues of supersession and appointments of customs officers. In other news now, as the hurricane season gets underway, the head of the Department of Emergency Management is calling on Barbadians to develop what she calls a comprehensive disaster management approach. Officer in charge, Kerry Hines, says this needs to be the new modus operandi for citizens, and she wants them to invest more in disaster preparedness. Her comments came during a DEM news conference this morning at its Warren's headquarters.
Every person, household, business, community, and organization must recognize the value of this comprehensive disaster management approach, and with it embrace the culture of resilience. We all have a part to play in assisting in reducing our vulnerabilities to these hazards. It is not the function of the government alone. It is everybody's business. Everyone has a part to play. We need to be proactive. Investing in planning and preparedness can significantly reduce the after effects or the impacts of these hazard events.
Ms. Hines explains the need for this type of approach. According to her, the impact of hazards on our landscape has increased tremendously, and as a nation, we have to respond.
We have had tremendous physical development over the years and significant investment in property and in our economy. So when that hazard strikes, be it an earthquake, a hurricane, a storm, a tsunami, there is a great potential for damage or disruption of services, economic activity. And what we preach at the national level is to ensure that you are prepared, and I would think that you would wish to protect your investments.
Forecasters have predicted this season will be below normal, with 6 to 11 named storms. 3 to 6 of these are expected to be hurricanes and up to 2 major hurricanes. About 3 weeks before the season started, Tropical Storm Anna formed off the U.S. coast. A postmortem has been completed on the body of the late Shamar Weeks. The 12-year-old Friars Well St. Lucie, Coleridge and Parry student reportedly committed suicide on May 14th. His body was found hanging in a shed in the backyard of his home by his mother. It will, however, take a matter of days before the results are released. Last month, it was revealed by police that scientific services, which are not available in Barbados, were to be brought in to assist with the postmortem. Well, that postmortem was conducted by forensic pathologist Dr. Sayanjendra Prasad Kayadala. He has promised to submit his written report by the weekend. A statement from the police says the legal and legitimate authority to publicly disclose the findings of a postmortem falls within the domain of the inquiring agency, specifically the coroner's office, and not the police force. We'll have more news in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Are you living a healthy lifestyle? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results at the end of the news.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
That's right, BK lovers. Tuesday is now Tuesday at Burger King. So do the double and enjoy your choice of 2 cheeseburgers with fries and a 16-ounce Coca-Cola for only $11.95. 2 crispy chicken wings with fries and a 16-ounce Coca-Cola for only $11.95. Or 2 portions of our mouth-watering King Wings served with fries and a 16-ounce Coca-Cola. Only $19.95. Tuesdays were never better. Visit www.BurgerKingBarbados.com for more details. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
Make no mistake when you're looking for the #1 source of the latest business news in Barbados, the region, and beyond. It has to be The Bottom Line, produced and presented by me, Ryan Broom, every weekday morning on CBC's 94.7 FM at 7:50 a.m. It comes to you with the kind compliments of the Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union Limited, reminding you to save smart and borrow smarter. So remember, make it your business to tune into The Bottom Line, the best source for business news on the radio.
The producer of the controversial Sugar Daddy song by Captain Sawyer has responded to the criticism from the outgoing president of the National Organization of Women. On Saturday, Marilyn Rice Bowen described the lyrics as disrespectful and disgusting and called for the song to be banned from NCF events. However, the song's producer, Elmore Roach, says Captain Sawyer is a social commentator and, like other Calypsonians, is singing about an issue in society.
I don't see it as encouraging anything. It is a song. It is a social rendition of, situations that happen, and it is not situations that happen in Barbados. It's situations that happen throughout the world. I mean, it's not a hit or a direct hit at women. It is a social rendition of situations. And as I said, this is the kind of things that you're going to get in Calypso. And I mean, if you're trying to kill that, you're trying to kill the art form.
Mr. Roach revealed Captain Sawyer is not taking the criticism well. He explained the lyrics, "Something for Something," are not sexual, stating that they stemmed from an incident where one of the artist's friends wanted to get a picture from a female, but she demanded that he add credit to her phone in exchange for the picture. He also says the song can be used positively by female organizations.
My advice to the group that are against this song, my advice to you is you have my permission as executive producer, as intellectual 50% owner. You can use this song and just remind the young ladies, don't fall in this trap. Don't fall for this. This song could be an anthem for women like, don't do this.
The Cape Shepherd All-Stars tent has increased its presence on the World Wide Web for Cropover 2015 with the public launch of its first website. The site, created by tent member Dario Bellamy, gives patrons more information on the tent. He says the site can be accessed at www.allstarstent.wix.com/All-Stars Calypso Tent.
Here we can keep up to date with all the tent nights. We can have pictures, biographies of all the tent members, any news, any tent gossip, whatever you might call it. You can find that on the tent. You can even get flashback from some of last year's footage, last year's pictures. And for each member, our tent performer, we have video clips of them, audio clips, so you get the whole works.
Tent manager Eleanor Rice says this year's cast will give a quality show to patrons and sponsors. She revealed it has been difficult to find sponsorship and lauded long-standing sponsors Cave Shepherd and Purity Bakeries, while welcoming new sponsors, the American University of Barbados and BIMAP. Her comments came during a press conference to launch the All-Stars at Cave Shepherd, Broad Street. It was also announced that the tent will open on Saturday at the Barbados Defence Force and will be judged at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre.
It's a very tedious task. It starts very early in the year, and by no means I want anyone to believe that it is a walk in the park. It is not a walk in the park, and some days and most days I feel like giving up. Because I love Calypso, I continue. Because I love the Calypsonians that are in All Stars, I continue.
The idea of heritage goes beyond properties, as there are many stories of yesteryear that must be told. And it's for this reason the Ministry of Culture is creating greater links with Barbadians this Heritage Month. A service of thanksgiving was held yesterday to observe the beginning of the month at the St. Mary's Anglican Church. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Ruth Blackman, provided some insight into activities planned for Heritage Month.
The archives will be having an open day, on open days rather, or be open to the public. You could come in and have tours and so on June 24th and 26th. And on June 14th, we'll be having a tour of the Parliamentary Museum or the Parliament Museum. And these all have their stories. Many of us go to the archives to investigate our genealogy, but the archives is much more than that.
The Barbados 4-H Foundation is happy with the level of buy-in from schools across the island. The local movement boasts about 800 members, and there are plans to increase this by the thousands. Many schools have embraced the 4-H movement, and others have signaled an interest in hosting a program. Chairman Osmond Harewood says there are many benefits not only for the students, but the institution and the local 4-H.
This not only provides for an outlet for environmental sound agricultural practices for our students, but it also provides an avenue for food security as we try to provide added income and earnings for our clubs. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to create economic business among the 4-Hers.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on the question: are you living a healthy lifestyle? Text yes or no